On the air, episode 138. Stay in.
See you guys. Thank you guys for coming.
Yeah.
What is this?
Look at that.
Wow.
Wow. This is kind of like a VIP audience. I see Rick DeVoe way over there. I see James East family right here. I mean, this is like a star-studded.
Did I hear, Mary, we had a community group in here? Is that your women's club?
We're the women's club, and we're representing Mira Mesa and Chula Vista.
Did you guys all get together on 11 o'clock? You know, I think we should start a men's club, you know? Yeah. Why do two different things evoke in your mind when you hear women's club and then men's club? Men's club, nothing good could come with the men's club.
Hey, we have a great show lined up.
All right, what do you got?
I can't wait. I can't wait to bring out each and every single one of these.
You want to tell them in advance who we have, or do you want to just do it one at a time?
I say let's do it one at a time. Let's just start now.
Let's get the show started. There we go.
The first guest.
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we know him from CBS San Diego, but he's currently on Fox 11 in Los Angeles. Give it up, Kyle Kraska!
Thanks for coming.
Wow.
And
Kyle.
buddy, it's been too long.
Love you, man.
You are famous. We're so glad to have you here.
Oh, my God.
I'm surprised this is the first time you've been.
Look at this
Huh?
crowd. Yeah. I've missed you guys.
I know, right?
So good to be back.
I have a bunch of questions.
Oh, wow.
If I can start off with the first one.
I'm sorry, I got someplace to be.
Because we know you from CBS San Diego, and I remember, go ahead and have a seat.
I don't want to turn my back on anybody.
No,
We'll do this.
you're cool, you're cool.
Okay. My last day with Channel 8 was Memorial Day of a couple of years ago. And this was coming for a while because it was the end of my contract, and I'd been there for 20-something years. You know, and in case you guys don't know, the Chargers left town. You know, and I, you know, I was kind of the Charger guy, right? That's how people knew me. We were the Charger station, and that's what I did. I covered them and had great relationships with the guys. And when they left town, when Dean took the Chargers out of town, I knew then that the end was eventual. It was going to be at the end of one of my contracts. It was going to be, okay, it's time to move on and to do something else. And that time was coming. I was offered a contract, Tommy.
Awesome.
I was offered a contract.
Just make it clear that Kyle Kraska was not fired.
I was offered a contract to stay, but after giving it some consideration and there were some opportunities out there, I decided that Memorial Day was going to be my last day. And I let all my friends and coworkers know at the time that that was going to happen. So they knew it was coming. It was more of a surprise to people over the air because when I didn't want to have a big farewell thing. I just want to say, hey, you know what? Today's my last day. Goodbye. And that's why I thought it was.
But you go to LA.
And then, yeah, I got a great opportunity, Fox LA.
And you're the sports guy at Fox 11.
Yep.
You're the main dude.
Yeah.
That's why I have all these questions. Like, when you go to the Lakers game, is it cool? You're just sitting there and all of a sudden Kareem walks by? I mean, you know.
Well, it's cooler
Kareem's not playing anymore.
It's cooler when the Kardashians walk by, to be honest with you. I've known Kareem a long time, but when, you know, when the Kardashians come walking, they're like, hey!
But I mean, you're in LA.
Yeah,
I bet you get great seats. How is it? I mean,
well, I get credentials, obviously. I'm not sitting in the front row. I'm not sitting with Jack, you know, sitting in the media box, which is a little higher up. But yeah, it's amazing because it's a scene. It's a place to be. So yeah, you walk in to what's now called the Crypt, and yeah, you not only all the athletes, but you see all the celebrities because it's a place to be. So you see everybody.
and then the football games.
Yeah, SoFi Stadium is amazing. I wish they had built one here in San Diego, and that would have been great, but they didn't. So SoFi is incredible, obviously. I mean, you look at the number of sports we have to cover there now. And again, I love San Diego. I want to make that so clear. But, you know, it's the Padres, unfortunately, and nothing else when it comes to major professional sports.
Kyle, does it feel different on the air? Because, you know, San Diego on the air, right?
Little bit, yeah.
And in here, you know, we normally don't have a live studio audience.
Yeah.
What if we are living in a little radio
Oh,
studio?
I wish we had a live studio.
Yeah, right? It
audience.
makes a lot of
That'd be
difference.
So great.
But it does, I've always wondered, in a TV studio or radio studio in LA, does it feel different than a TV or radio studio in San Diego?
It does. First of all, our studio is enormous at Fox, okay? And we've got all the toys, and we've got, like, you guys got a huge jib here.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't have that at Channel 8, you know, and we have all these toys that they can play with and giant monitors, and we can get anybody we want on the air. In San Diego, it was
What does that mean? What do you mean by that?
I mean, so we're the little train.
I mean, what do you, seriously.
Because San Diego's a little train that could sometimes.
So what do you mean?
Right, Sully. When
Like magic.
In San Diego, it was more tricky to get somebody, especially to come into studio. No one's driving down from LA to be in your studio in San Diego. So, you know, COVID changed things a bit because we do more Zooming now. That's become a regular thing, so you could maybe get someone to Zoom with you, but they say, oh, you know, who are you working with? And you say, well, it's CBS San Diego versus Fox LA, and then you can get anybody. And you're right, Magic Johnson, hey, you need an interview, you need to get LeBron, you need to get AD, you need to get anybody. You can pretty much get them. They want to be on your air because the ratings are so big.
One more question before we bring out our next guest.
Oh, there are more guests?
Yeah.
So is it cool? So is it cool knowing you're on in LA?
Yeah.
And then like Jennifer Aniston's watching you? I mean, is that a cool feeling?
Yeah, I don't think about that when I'm on the air, but yeah.
It is kind of weird, though, thinking like, you know.
I mean, speaking of which, it's funny you mentioned that. I think back, people don't know this, but I worked in San Diego for 22 years. Before that, I worked in LA. I went from LA to San Diego and back to LA. And I remember back then, what was the hottest show on the air? You just said it. The hottest show on the air back then, right?
Friends.
It was Friends, right? I remember being in my office at CBS in LA, phone rang, I picked it up, and it was David Schwimmer. And I'm like, this is David Schwimmer. I'm like, David Schwimmer. Oh, Friends, right? He's like, yeah. I say, hey, I'm a big fan, and we're doing a charity thing. Would you come? And blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I wasn't a big Friends watcher, but when I told friends of mine, that someone from Friends called me, they were like,
huge.
no way. So, yeah,
Wow.
that was wild.
That's such a cool story.
Kyle Kraska, ladies and gentlemen, give me a hand. Good to have you back.
All right, our next guest, celebrating 41 years of the fish taco in San Diego. He's a San Diego icon. Give it up for Ralph Rubio.
There it is. Hey.
How you doing, you guys? What's happening?
What's up, buddy? He's here. The inventor.
Hi, everybody.
It's Rubio.
Good to see
Hey,
you, man.
Sully, good to see you, brother. You want me to see her?
What's up? Yeah. You know,
Mr. Rubio.
do you remember being at San Diego State?
Oh, yeah.
And there was nowhere you could go other than Monty's to eat fast and eat pretty good. But then you invented the best thing in San Diego to jump out and eat.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know if everybody agrees,
Come on.
but...
It didn't. No, honestly. And we all know, going to state at the same time, we went to Mex all the time. I mean, Rosarito was the thing we went to on Friday nights, and you came back on Friday.
That's right.
And you brought that culture back because of your family, the history with restaurants and such. Fantastic. Yeah. And I got to say,
Thank you, Sul.
the only publicly traded fish taco company, not now.
It didn't last too long.
Stock symbol was RUBO. I remember.
correct, yeah.
Fantastic. Good stuff. Good.
But how does it feel? January 25th, 1983, you introduced San Diego to the fish taco. That was back then in 1983 when
41 years ago, man.
when you were just a kid. Now you're like the taco king. You have a taco empire. How does that feel for you and your
Well,
family?
the first thing, it makes me feel old, okay?
Let me tell you how old you feel. Back when we were in college in '83, oldies music. Back in the oldies music was stuff like back in the '40s. Hello, my honey. How you know what oldies music is? When we were in school, Flock of Seagulls.
There you
The
go.
Go-Go's.
There
That's
you go.
how old we are.
You wait, baby.
No kidding. And, yeah,
the 80s.
that's 40 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
No, but it's awesome. I mean, it started out as a family business. You know, my mom was ringing the register. My dad was packing tacos in the bags. And we had that one restaurant on Mission, 4504 Mission Bay.
Is that the old Julius?
Still there. It's Old Orange Julius. In fact, Larry Eddington was a landlord. So my dad and I approached him about leasing this restaurant space that he had for rent. And he kind of shook his head. These poor guys aren't going to make it. You know, we were telling him, yeah, we want to rent your restaurant and serve fish tacos because it wasn't an Orange Julius anymore. He didn't give us a chance. But, through a lot of hard work with the family, side by side. We had one paid employee, Jenny Alexander, who was a holdover from Orange Julius.
At the time.
At the time. And it took a couple of years, but every successive month after the last was a little better. And it took 2 years, and then in 1985 or so, it just took off like a rocket. And then we started to get a lot of notoriety, a lot of word of mouth, and then we opened the second one at San Diego State on campus on College Avenue. And then the first one was so busy, we opened up our third one in Pacific Beach again to handle the overflow from the first one. And they're still there. We're still in San Diego State. Still in Mission Bay.
But it became a cultural icon in San Diego. I remember at the time,
it did.
I mean, it was kind of a cool thing. Are you going to go get pizza? No, we're going to fish tacos. It was almost this thing that was cool to do.
Right.
And then all of a sudden,
Well, it was so new and different, For those of us who travel through Mexico a lot, fish tacos were fairly common. But when I was a freshman and had my first fish taco, I'd never heard of a fish taco because I grew up in LA. But coming down here and going to college, I mean, everybody was doing spring break, all the Aztecs down in Ensenada or San Felipe. I went to San Felipe, I had my first fish taco, fell in love. And I saw the business opportunity one day. I just had an epiphany, drinking Coronas, eating fish tacos with my college buddies. I see all these other college students enjoying tacos and beers. I said, well, why couldn't I open a restaurant in San Diego serving fish tacos? It seems like an idea.
Okay.
And then with my dad as my partner, he financed it. We became 50-50 partners, and we opened Rubio's in 1983.
How many total locations at the Mac? At our peak, how many are we at our peak now, or how many?
No, we've had to retract a bit. The economy's been tough for us coming out of COVID. We had to close some restaurants, but at a peak we were over 200.
Wow.
We're at 142 now, which is still a great base of restaurants.
142 Rubio.
Yeah, we still have 142.
And you've sold over 300 million tacos.
That's right. Yeah. Well, we've had 41 years to do it, so
I had about 50 grand.
Well, when you say
worth of tacos?
300 million fish tacos, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
300 million fish tacos.
Fish tacos.
I went there the other day, and you and I see each other often out in North County and stuff. But I went in there thinking about Ralph, going, it's the same as it always was, and it is so great. And that's the benefit about having a business like that.
Yeah.
Is that when McDonald's first started franchising, little business 101 here, the reason they did it because you could get a quality product, it tastes the same whether you're in Opelika, Alabama, or you're in Los Angeles, California. Right. And you did the same thing. How tough is that for you these days?
Well, it's hard. We're considered fast casual, so a little more quality, a little more service, maybe more upscale environment.
Right.
So there's more labor and effort that goes into that because we make a lot of our food from scratch in the kitchen. So there's not a lot of pre-produced ingredients that are coming in like a lot of fast food restaurants.
Which makes me question, how do you make it so consistent?
Well, it's hard.
Right?
I'm answering your question. I'm saying that it is a challenge. I mean,
But you guys
it's
are
not
doing
easy.
it.
We do it. A lot of it's training. We have a great operations team. A lot of it's just good management.
Yeah.
I try to be in the restaurants as much as I can, pop in unannounced. A lot
So
of
does
times they
Tommy.
don't recognize me.
Tommy does too.
Yeah, he's on my payroll. He tries.
Ralph, I got to tell you a story. 1983 is the year I got my driver's license, okay? And this was in the Northeast. I grew up near Boston, okay? And my older brother, about 7 years older than me, came up with this brilliant idea. And this shows you how times have changed, okay? I got my driver's license one day. The next day, he said, we're driving to California.
Oh, I love it. Road trip.
And somehow talked my parents into this, okay? And we got a car and drove all the way from Boston to California. And when we started going down to San Diego, we'd never been there before, my brothers tell me, I hear that they serve like fish tacos in San Diego. I was reading about this, and I'm like, that sounds disgusting.
So,
fish tacos.
Fair enough.
And we went and we got fish tacos, and it was
they're
love at
delicious.
first bite.
Yeah. There you
so
go.
you and I talked about this.
Great story.
It's such a great example of because you and I talked about this. You went public, and you had to do a road show with a bunch of New York guys saying, I got this great idea. We're going to have this casual restaurant that sells fish tacos. And all these guys from New York and Boston are going, what? I mean, it was, and you guys did it.
Yeah, we sold the book. I mean, maybe not so much in New York, but we did a road show all over the country, and we had a good IPO, so.
Well, you did, but the thing was, I could imagine telling the story from San Diego and some Wall Street.
I know.
You're eating what? It's not like selling a hot dog.
Take one
like
bite.
They've never seen it.
All right, we have 2 more guests to bring out. Let's bring out our very next guest from
I know who
the
this is.
#1 morning radio show in San Diego, the queen of Rock 105.3 from the show, Sky.
we're the news girl here now.
There's a connection between Ralph Rubio and you, right?
Yes, yes.
What is it?
We go back a long time. So I've been doing mornings on Rock 105.3. This year will be my 20th year. On... Like, that doesn't happen, right?
So jealous.
So super, super lucky, super grateful. And so we moved here in 2004. We were up in the Silicon Valley doing radio there. And we moved here. And again, just like Kyle's story, as soon as we got here, fish taco. Have you ever had a fish taco? And just like Kyle, ooh, gross. Of course I haven't had a fish taco. And I've never eaten seafood. I don't like seafood, you know, being from the San Francisco area, clam chowder, no thank you, gross, whatever. And so my coworkers on the show said, you have to try a fish taco. And I said, no, I don't. And they say, we swear you're gonna love it. It's not fishy, it's delicious, like it's gonna blow your mind. So I thought I was being all smart and clever, and I said, I will eat a fish taco when Ralph Rubio presents it to me. So next thing you know, like a week later, they go, guess who's coming in today? And I said, who? And they said, Ralph Rubio is bringing you a fish taco, and you're gonna eat it. And so I was like, oh my God, they got me. Like, how did they set this up, right? And so Ralph walks in, and I don't know why I had this thought, maybe because I'm a conspiracy theorist type chick, but out of nowhere, I go, what makes this guy Ralph Rubio?
Yeah, she did say that.
Like, who's to say this isn't some sales dude I've never met before trying to force me to eat this taco? So Ralph walks in, and of course everybody's like, oh, you know, he's a celebrity, he's so important, like, and I go, I don't believe that's Ralph Rubio.
That's right.
And I said, show me your driver's license. And I mean, the head of our sales department is like, oh my God, Ralph will never. And so he was so kind. He took it out and showed me, and I'm like, dang it, I gotta eat this fish taco.
That's right.
And it was delicious.
Wait a second, wait, before the first bite, they're sliding it towards you. You're thinking, how do we fix? What was that moment like? You can't turn around.
Okay.
Were you worried?
I was worried,
just saying.
and of course, I dissected the whole thing. I'm like, why is there cabbage on this? Why is there cabbage in my taco? This makes no sense. And again, it was so delicious, and I was just telling Ralph, I now have the Rubio's app, and I mean, no judgment, you guys, but probably about once a week, my family gets Rubio's, and I eat the fish tacos.
Well, guess what, Sky?
Thank you.
Guess what?
Thank you, Sky.
After this break, Ralph's gonna make the fish taco right here.
A fresh one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah! Jeez!
On the air, on the air. Before you have a Rubio's taco.
That's what I thought.
And you said, when it was kind of like the Sky Hell Freezes Over tour.
Yeah.
When you said, I will have a fish taco when Ralph Rubio presents it to me.
I thought it was never going to happen. And like, look, I mean, look where we're at. This is amazing.
And she called me out and made me take out my license.
That was so crazy.
Well, it's true.
Oh,
you
my
were
God.
you are the name behind the name.
Yeah.
But you didn't have the Ralph Rubio face under the U or
No,
anything,
no,
so
no.
nobody really knew who he looked like.
They say I have a face for radio. I don't know what that
Hey,
is.
hey, 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 hey. Careful there.
I know that too. It's a golf.
We're all from radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all,
heard
yeah,
that.
we're
It's a
all from
joke.
radio.
It's
Thanks.
a joke, man.
All
Easy
right.
now.
So are you going to do this? Are you going to start show us how to do this?
I'll make a fish taco for you guys. Yeah.
I'd like to.
Wow.
All right, here we go.
All right, here we go. So now this is just what I wanted to do, as you guys mentioned earlier, was to replicate that San Felipe experience. So
Yes.
That was really the inspiration. So a nice, thick, stone ground yellow corn tortilla like I used to get when my grandma lived in Tijuana, and I'd go visit her when I was a little kid. So this is a kind of a special custom designed tortilla for Rubio's. Then the beer battered fish, and the secret to this is now in San Felipe, they put whatever fish they catch fresh goes into their fish tacos, right? You could buy them for 50 cents a
Right.
taco back in '73. We use wild Alaskan pollock because it's a mild whitefish, and then the batter has oregano and mustard and pepper and salt and all these other great ingredients.
So did you come up with that recipe?
I did. My brother and I, Robert, we worked on this recipe because I just had the ingredients, but I didn't have the portion. So I don't know if you heard the story, but when I had my epiphany, I asked Carlos, who was working the fish taco stand, hey man, what goes in the fish batter? He told me oregano, mustard, salt, pepper, all the things I just listed off. And I wrote it in the back cover of my phone book. You guys are too young to remember what the back cover of a phone book was. But
Thank you for saying that.
I appreciate that.
And it would fit in my
Definitely
wallet.
no
It
clue-
was that
no clue
small.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
So yeah, you guys don't know what I'm talking about. So anyway, we came up with the recipe. A lot of the flavor comes from the beer batter fish, and then we put our secret white sauce, which I'll tell you is mayonnaise and sour cream. That's all I'm going to tell you.
That's it?
That's it.
Whoa.
But you got to get.
Give me a phone book so I can write this down.
It's creamy, it's tangy, so it complements the crispy beer batter fish. It has a lot of the flavor from the spices. And then a mild salsa with fresh jalapeno and cilantro and some onion and tomato, obviously.
Can I just say that I come to Rubio's, the taco is a delivery device for the salsa for me. Your salsa.
That's right.
I could drink your salsa. I'm not kidding. I think I have more salsa than fish. I mean,
I do
ridiculous.
drink your salsa.
We do have the salsa bar.
It looks like a plate of spaghetti by the time I'm ready to eat it, because I swear.
And that's a fresh cabbage. It gives you a nice little crunch, and it's a nice fresh finish. And then I'll let Sky do the honors with the lime, just like a cold Corona. You got to take a lime wedge and squeeze it over.
Yeah, don't lose that lime in the wrapper.
Oh, okay.
You got to use it.
I won't. So we just do
Just a little
a
spritz.
little spritz. Where's my spritz?
And then if you really want, now this is what you get at Rubio's. This is original fish taco, but I add a little salsa picante, which is on the salsa bar.
That's the one.
I never eat a fish taco without it. It adds a little heat, some roast.
That's the one.
That's the one. This is the one I love. It's amazing.
Was that your recipe too?
Yeah, well, I actually inspired from a trip to Puerto Nuevo with some friends, and it's really simple. It's Japanese chilies that are fried in oil, added to tomato sauce and a little salt. And Puerto Nuevo, you know Lobster Village?
Yeah.
That's where I got the inspiration for this salsa, and it's been on the salsa bar since 1986. But this is an authentic Rubio's fish.
Look at that masterpiece. So how often, Scott? Once in your life, being served a fish taco.
This is so special.
But now Ralph Rubio just made one.
That is
for
so
you.
special.
So
No, I hear everybody in the audience being like, I'm
So is that
hungry
the
now.
so is this the stunt taco? So this is the stunt taco.
Wow. Oh, look at this. I got my own plate.
Well, we brought some for the bar here.
Ooh, okay. All
All right,
right.
Sky.
Wanna take a
So
bite?
should I check the
No,
driver's
no.
license again?
I think I'm dying to see if you really eat them every week. Because
Okay.
this may be
it's
only
good.
the second time you've ever eaten fish.
Okay, this is, I feel, okay, this is definitely Ralph. This is fish. This is the setup. Everybo's okay.
That's
okay.
right.
I'm weird about food, you guys. I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. Ah,
She likes it.
She did it.
so good. So good. Thanks,
Wow.
Ralph.
Ralph,
All right.
can you believe Ralph Rubio's here making fish tacos in the studio?
I've never done this, by the way, just for you.
Just for me?
Hey, what about me?
Oh, yeah. You too. I was looking at him.
What is so for you? Before we start talking about this wonderful business here, is any expansion? Are we?
Not at the moment, but we are looking to. We're looking at some changes in the menu and change in restaurant design. We're opening a new restaurant. We're rebuilding a restaurant in Oceanside that's going to open in a couple of months. That'll have the new design, so you can come see it on College Avenue and Oceanside Boulevard.
Ralph Rubio.
All right. Let's bring out our next guest. Ladies and gentlemen, the president and CEO of Make-A-Wish San Diego, Suzanne Husby.
What's up, sister?
Suzanne.
Hi, Suzanne.
Here's Suzanne. Here's your fish taco.
No, I brought tacos for Suzanne.
All right, take it. Take the stunt taco.
That one's cold by now.
Somebody take the stunt taco off. So nice to see you again.
So nice to see you.
I haven't seen you
Thanks for
since
having me.
Christmas,
That's right.
since we played the gala.
That's right.
Boy, what a crazy night. You guys asked us to play the Make-A-Wish Foundation Gala in December. And I kind of, at this point, I'm like, we get asked to play a lot of places. And it's like, oftentimes you go to these country clubs or you go to the golf course and you're playing a fundraiser. It's like this. We're up there playing background music because people are standing in the food line. And then at the end of the day, 30 boozy wives of golfers come up and dance the dance floor, jump on the dance floor, and we're done. I said, maybe we can donate something instead. I will tell you, that was one of the greatest parties in San Diego. You guys throw a party.
It was a blast.
It's not a rubber chicken party. The place looked like the Belly Up. I'm being honest. We played the Belly Up a lot. I mean, there was a crowd of people dancing the whole time. I didn't even know if they ate. It's
You guys
fantastic.
threw a rager. Thank you.
How much money did you raise that night?
For the first time ever, we raised over $1 million for Wish.
So can we revisit the story of our friend?
Yes.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
or do you want to tell the story how we brought her?
for
No,
it.
go ahead.
No, let Suzanne. do this.
Yeah, for the people who didn't get to watch the show, talk about who we brought in and what's happened since with her.
Yeah. So we talk a lot about the impact of a wish, the power of a wish, and there's a sense that it's just that moment on vacation or hugging a celebrity or having your shopping spree, but there's really a long-lasting impact. So we introduced Sully and Tommy and their friends to a girl named Avila. She was 9 years old when we met her, dealing with leukemia. And that's a tough treatment course. And she had to miss school. She lost her hair. She had all the, the fallout of dealing with treatment. And she's a musician at heart, but she didn't really have a place to write or create. And so her wish was to have a home recording studio, which was really cool. One of the first wishes we've granted like that. So we called in some music experts and set up a real recording studio in her home. Wow. She would jam out with her siblings and her dad and kind of write music. Several years later, she is now past her cancer journey. She's doing well.
Oh, very cool.
And her video that she did here is like our most watched video.
Well, so she's in the. So you guys come in and we're interviewing you about Make a Wish, and she happens to be in the audience. So we're saying, "Hey, Avi, what's up?" And we didn't know at the time what she had. So she had in terms of what her wish was. So we asked her, "What was your wish?" She goes, "A recording studio." I said, "Wait a second. Do you sing?" I'm thinking, you know where this is going, right? We on the spot. I said, "Do you want to sing with the band?" So on a commercial break, we come up, and I grabbed the guitar, and I said, "What do you want to play?" She said, "Jason Mraz, I'm yours." So I grabbed the guitar, and we did like a 2-minute rehearsal off the air. Next break, she comes up, stands on that stage in front of a live audience, no band, and nails it to the point where, if I'm not mistaken, Jason Mraz actually got wind of that tape, and she got a chance to sing with Jason Mraz.
He signed her.
Yes, she's like practically part of our band. She's been on stage with us so much. I mean, honestly, in the Belly Up, you can't be in there unless you're 21. But we drug her in one night.
I had a fake ID for her.
She got a stage. She got a stage.
Her mom was there.
She
don't
tore
worry.
the place down. I mean, the whole place was awesome.
Yep.
So, what is she up to now? Is continuing her music, or?
She's continuing her music. She wrote an original song that she performed at our gala for the first time, and the ukulele she played with had been signed by Jason Mraz. So many cool connections. But we're actually next weekend going to be going to her end of treatment party, which is really cool. Yeah.
It's awesome.
We gotta have her back.
Yeah.
You ever come back and do a song, maybe?
Absolutely. But after the break, we need to ask you about your event that you're doing in 2024, and we got to talk to Kyle about your blood drive that you're doing on
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. All right, we'll do that right after the break.
Suzanne, Kyle, Guy, Ralph, Sully, Tommy, and the Sully Gang are live audience. Thanks for coming, you guys. We're on here. Coming up. You know when Sully Man's here.
Love it.
When I remember when Rusty Nails was alive, and he and I were doing our national show, and Tommy and I had invited Rusty Nails to come on this show, which just started off with me and Tommy, and we started this at our old studios.
Yes.
And genius me decides I'm going to build a new TV studio during COVID, 2020. So this is the second iteration of that, but our other studio down the street looked a lot like this. But our idea from the very beginning was to have a live studio audience and have Russ warm them up before we got here. And wouldn't Rusty have loved what he's seeing here today?
Oh, yeah.
God bless him.
If you guys, as you guys in the audience walk out, if you peek out as you go through the hallway past the Wall of Champions, that has all of our Emmy Awards and Tommy's multiple Hall of Fame awards. You take a right, and you look through the glass door, we have an homage to Rusty Nails. We have a poster back there of Russ holding a drink the size of that screen in the back studio.
And if I can say this, that guy back there in the hat, give it up for Tyler, his son.
Yeah.
So a few things I want to talk about. today? What are you doing today?
We're leaving today and getting on a plane with the band to go to Texas to record an album. Through our manager, Rick DeVoe, who's the guy who started Blink-182, who signed us last year. Rome Ramirez from Sublime heard me, and he said, I want you to come write a couple songs in Nashville, which we did last year. And, or was it this year? I think it was this year.
Last year.
And then he calls me 2 months later and says, I want to do an album with you. Well, this is like Martha Stewart calling you up, Sky, and said, I want to do a cooking show with you. I mean,
It would be wild because I don't cook at all. So that would be quite the phone call.
So, I mean, because we've been voted best live band in San Diego, and we can fill up a room here in San Diego, no problem. We couldn't get arrested outside of maybe Oceanside. Nobody knows who we are. Although we did bribe you guys to come to San Clemente. But suddenly this puts us on the elevators at the highest level.
That's
And
awesome.
our first single comes out April 27th. We're in Texas for a week with basically Eric Clapton's band backing us. You guys. I haven't talked much about it, not because I'm skeptical, because when something like this is happening to you, it's like, I don't want to jinx it. It's kind of a big deal.
It is.
So we'll see.
I have a question for Suzanne.
Okay.
It's the Trailblaze Challenge for Make-A-Wish San Diego?
Yes.
What exactly is that?
It is a one-day, 28-mile hike on a beautiful trail in Big Bear with some like the greatest people you could ever meet, and it all raises money for Make-A-Wish.
When?
So the hike weekends happen in May, but we don't just wake up one day and hike 28 miles. That would be bananas. So we start training in February. And so this is actually my 5th year hiking it. And so I'm out on the trails every weekend training and fundraising right along with the rest of our hikers.
Isn't a marathon only 26.2 miles?
That's running. That's harder, you know?
How do
28
you,
miles hiking indicates uphill.
Yeah. There's some uphill.
how do you sign up?
So go to our website, sandiego.wish.org, and check out an info session. This is our 8th year of Trailblaze Challenge, and it's taken off. We've got alumni hikers every year like myself that keep coming back because it's some of the greatest people you'll meet, and you get outside every Saturday to do a training hike somewhere in San Diego County. It's really a lot of fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, Kyle, the real reason why you're here is to talk about a blood drive you're doing on Valentine's.
The real reason I'm here is to see you.
There you go. Well played.
To come to San Diego. I never turned down an invitation to come to San
But
Diego.
if I may, can we
Yeah.
ask you, can you take us back to that date, February 10th, 2015?
Sure.
What happened when you were leaving work?
No, boy, that was a bad day. I was shot. I was pulling out of my driveway. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard the story, right? Yeah, I was pulling out of my driveway, and someone came up behind me and with a 9mm handgun and put 20 bullets through my car.
20 bullets.
20 bullets, yeah. Went through a whole magazine and then reloaded and put the other one all the way through, and 6 of the bullets went through me. Wow. 5 of them went all the way through in one side and out the other, so I had 10 holes, and then the 6th one stayed inside me. It was in my hip, so. Yeah, so I had 11 holes in me, and somehow I was still alive. And people say, oh, well, we must have missed. No, 2 of the bullets went through my chest, through my leg, through my hand, through my back, all over, and I was left for dead.
Kyle, what time of day was this?
3 o'clock, 3:08.
In the afternoon.
Yeah, 3 in the afternoon.
So you had to do the night stuff, the evening stuff.
I was on my way to do the 5 o'clock news, and I pushed myself out of my car. I was wondering like how I was still alive at that moment. One of the crazy things is I was thinking I need to call 911 because I lived in a cul-de-sac in Scripps Ranch. And 3 o'clock in the afternoon, everyone was at work.
Yeah,
there was no one home. It was quiet. So no one's running to my rescue at this point. So I'm thinking I got to call 911. So I reach in my back pocket and I carry my phone, just like this in my back pocket. And I look, and there is a bullet in the center of my phone.
No kidding.
The battery of my phone stopped the bullet from going all the way through. And if you think about it, if a bullet had gone through there and out the front, I'd be dead. Yeah. So my phone literally saved my ass that day.
Ba-da-boom. Very good.
And the strangest thing is, in bad as shape as I was in, I actually laughed when I thought that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I actually giggled them and like, oh wow, now I need a new phone.
Were you able to? Did it work? Did the phone work?
No.
So what?
No.
So how did it help?
It was dead. So I looked out at an intersection about 60 feet from my driveway, and I thought I need to be there. So someone hopefully will drive up the street. So I just started crawling out to the intersection, And wouldn't you know, when I got to the center, someone, an off-duty police officer, Scott Bartolome, who happened to be a friend of mine, was driving up the street and saw me and was able to call an ambulance and get me off to the hospital where they started putting me back together again. But I was in a coma for a week. I coded twice on the table, so my pulse went to 0. They had to revive me each time, and I needed 14 units of blood.
Don't we only carry 12 in us? Is that
About 10.
10.
Average, maybe 12 for you, but 10.
That was lovely.
So, at what point does your memory stop? That's a pretty vivid memory up to there.
0. You
remember the whole thing?
Craziest thing is I remember I could give you a detailed description of absolutely everything that happened, all the way up to being I was in the trauma room. I'd been wheeled in there on a gurney. The surgeon came out, Dr. Fadi Nasrallah, and he looked over me, and he said, and they'd like just strip my clothes off instantly. I'm on this bed, and he said, "My name is Dr. Nasrallah, and I'm going to do my best to put you back together again." He says, "You've got 11 holes in you," he said, "I'm going to do the best I can." And I just looked at him and I said, "Doc," I said, "I'm going to be fighting. Please don't quit."
Yeah.
And that was our bond right there. We had this bond, and we're the best of friends to this day. And we always remember that moment where I said, "I'm going to fight. Don't quit on me." Yeah. And we fought together, battled, and wouldn't you know it, here I am today.
Well, thank God you did. All right. So listen, coming up, there's a very special blood drive that you're part of. Let's tell you about that as soon as we come back from the break. What a story. Kyle Kraska here.
I'm worn out.
I'm glad we got to go first.
Do you still have the phone?
No, it's police evidence.
If you want to be an audience member, just who the heck do they know? Audience.
Email Mary at audience@loft100studios.com.
Audience at
Loft100studios.
Let's look at the graphic at the bottom of your screen. I'm sure it'll help. So Sky was asking a question to Kyle on the break. I want you to repeat that because that's a really interesting question about the doctor. Are you guys becoming
Well,
so close?
because he had said, like, we're, the best of friends. And I'm like, okay, like, you can say that, but are you really the best of friends, or do you just, like, send Christmas cards?
No. We're very, very close. We talk all the time. I just talked to him last week. I'll give you a real quick story. After I recovered to a point where I felt good enough to leave the house, I wanted to go back and see the nursing staff and the doctors that saved my life. And so I was so adamant. I said, my family said, set it up. I want to go back to the hospital. I said, you just need to rest and get better. I said, no, I want to go back to the hospital. Right? I'm talking a week after I left the hospital. Because when I left, I didn't know, I was still out of it and everything. I went back and the whole staff came out. Everybody, the nurses, the doctors, everybody from the hospital came out at Scripps La Jolla. God bless them. And the looks on their faces, to see me walk in, first of all, and I'm hugging each and every one of them, and we're crying, and they were almost in disbelief. And I said, I'm getting a weird vibe from you guys. He said, this never happens. No one ever comes back.
Oh, wow.
We don't know what happens next. We're a trauma center. We patch them up and move them on to therapy, but physical therapy and all that, but we never see the end results. So to see you come back, this is so rewarding to us, to see that you're okay and you're doing okay. And right then the light went on, and I said, you know what? These people that save lives every day very rarely get thanked for it or recognized for what they do. And I said, that's got to change. What can I do? And I asked all of them, what do you need? And they said, the one thing that helps us do our job is we need blood. We need people to donate more blood, because we can have the best doctors, the best nurses, the best facilities, the best instruments, but if we don't have the blood, they said, if the blood wasn't here, you needed 14 units. If it wasn't here when you got wheeled into this room, you'd be dead. No. And that right then I said, that's it. I need to help the cause, but honor them. And so that day was born the celebration of Heroes Blood Drive.
And what does Valentine's mean to you? Why that day?
It's the first day I opened my eyes from a coma.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. No kidding. I bet.
Amazing.
Did I hear, Kyle, the right now?
Yeah, that was one of the times I coded. I was out for a minute and a half.
My goodness.
And so they weren't sure if I was ever going to wake up, and they weren't sure if I was ever going to be okay. And my family obviously was praying and hoping, and they said the very first day that my eyes opened was on Valentine's Day.
My goodness. Did I hear that our blood reserves are lowest right now, or historically?
Lowest donors right now in 20 years. Our supplies are so low. It's critical, and the Red Cross. So I'm so glad. I do the blood drive every year. This will be the 6th annual coming up on Valentine's Day. And San Diego has always come out in full force. And I'm so glad that it's coming because we need it now. So
When
I'm so
and
glad
where
it's
is it?
happening. It's happening at the Handlery Hotel in Hotel Circle. Thank you to them for donating the space to us. And thank you to the Red Cross. And you see some of the pictures up on the screen of people who come out and donate, and all the wonderful staff there. You see the T-shirts that we give out, the Celebration of Heroes T-shirts. It's all day on Valentine's Day, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Handlery Hotel. You can go to redcrossblood.org and sign up. You put in KK's Heroes, that's the sponsor code, KKSHEROES. You can call 1-800-RED-CROSS. You sign up, you make an appointment. It's an hour out of your day, and guess what? You saved someone's life.
Can you just show up?
You can just show up too. We prefer you make an appointment. It's better for you because you literally, I'm here for my appointment. You walk in, you get it done, you walk out the door. But there's a lot of hugs that day. There's a lot of smiles. We have the chief of police shows up because we honor them. The fire chief shows up. A lot of our law enforcement shows up. A lot of doctors and nurses show up, and it's a lot of hugs and a lot of thank yous to these people who deserve it.
And I love that you kept it San Diego.
Always. Yeah, this is, I say this every year on February 10th. I can never thank San Diego enough for coming out and donating the blood, and just for the encouragement I got when I was going through, the letters and the emails I would get. Come on, you got this, you got this. I'll never be able to thank San Diego enough, but I'm never going to stop trying. Never. Never.
So what's going on with the show? What's the latest with the show?
Well, there's always so much going on. You know, we always do a lot of fun things around the holidays. So I'm sure our listeners are anticipating Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day.
We've had more P1 listeners than any other radio station here.
Oh, yeah.
Right, because of you guys.
Oh, yeah. They're pretty fanatic. They're pretty awesome. They support everything we do.
Do the four of you, when you come every morning, is it still just 4 friends talking on the radio?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We feel so lucky because, I mean, not every dynamic's like that. As we all know, working in the industry, everybody pretends they're like that. But behind the scenes, some people don't actually speak. So it's nice. Our families get together. We hang out. We just feel so blessed.
You're kind of burying the lead. You mentioned it earlier.
What?
You're celebrating 20 years.
Yes.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, 20 years, same station, Eddie and I doing our thing on Rock 105.3 since 2004. Yeah.
We get the whole group back in. We had all of them, all 4 of them.
Oh, that's
Those are
trouble.
some of the best shows.
Oh, you guys are
They're fantastic.
And then after the break, I want to talk to Suzanne about how many wishes have you granted so far. We'll talk to you after the break.
On the air, it's on the air. Rubio, Kyle Kraska, Suzanne Husby, Make a Wish.
And speaking of Suzanne and speaking of first responders, Suzanne, what does your husband do?
He is a captain with San Diego Fire. He works on the technical rescue team.
Yeah.
Wow. Bunch of do-gooders.
And Make-A-Wish San Diego, how many wishes are you at right now?
So we, as an organization, just turned 40 in December. We've been here since 1983 here in San Diego, and we have granted over 5,100 wishes to
My goodness.
San Diego and Imperial. Wow.
83 was a great year.
Right? That was. So name us some of the wishes that you're seeing. I mean, one of the best ones I saw was when the little kid wanted to be an astronaut. So I forget where you took him, Marks Air Force Base or something. They give him a little astronaut suit. He got it. But give me the ranges. I'm always thinking make a wishes. You can hang out with Kyle Kraska in LA for a day. Right?
A sportscaster for a day.
But it's not always celebrities.
It's not always celebrities. You know, Disney is the most popular wish. Disney World, Disneyland, the Aulani Resort in Hawaii. A lot of kids want to travel. A lot of kids wish to have like a space for themselves in their backyard, like a playhouse, a treehouse they can kind of get away. One of the things we get to do in San Diego, in addition to granting wishes for kids who live here, is host kids from other parts of the country who wish to come to San Diego. And so Can you guess the #1 reason that kids come to San Diego from other places?
Rubio's.
Rubio's.
Weather.
It's fish
Weather.
tacos. It's fish tacos.
Yeah, and
It's
Weather.
Legoland, actually.
No kidding.
Oh, wow.
They're so kind to us. All the theme parks are so kind to us and give special treatment to our kids. We also get to host a lot of military wishes. Kids who wish to have an experience at Miramar, Camp Pendleton, meet a Navy SEAL. Anytime we call someone and ask for help, they say yes, and we'll add something else. We'll bring this other person in. We'll make it even more special. So that's kind of how a wish comes together every time.
Is it so? If one of our families watches it on the air or whatever, how do you? Is it an application process? Is it an email? How does it? What's the what's the tip of this?
Families can come directly to us, but typically it's through a medical professional. We work closely with Rady Children's and Naval Medical Center and Kaiser. The medical professionals kind of understand who we serve and why it's important, and they get them connected. But Ralph actually asked a great question: is there a waiting list? And kids don't wait. If a child's medically eligible, they will be, eligible, and they'll get to start their wish process right away, because the impact of a wish starts the minute they meet our wish granting volunteers, and suddenly they're not thinking so much about the hospital, the next procedure, the next needle poke. I mean, you know how important hope is when you're dealing with something, and that's what we get to do.
What was the hardest wish you ever had to grant?
I wouldn't say this was the hardest, but kind of the grandest I can remember is we sent a child to meet the Pope.
Wow.
We worked with Make-A-Wish Italy. Make-A-Wish has a presence in Italy, and they had a bilingual volunteer that met the family at the airport, took them to Vatican City, and got them in an actual audience.
That is not a small ask. I mean,
Amazing.
we're gonna do President Pope. I'll take the Pope.
Yeah.
Suzanne, I've known you for a couple of years, and I just want to say, you're like an angel. I mean, look at all that you do. I mean, how does it feel to just, wake up and say, okay, I got to go to work to do this? I mean, how does that feel?
I mean, our team is incredible. We're surrounded, my friends kind of jokingly call me Susie Sunshine because I have this rosy view of the world, but it's because, and you know my story, I mean, I graduated college, started as an intern at Make-A-Wish, and here I am 20 years later. I never worked anywhere else. And when I see people, they're at their best, whether they're receiving a wish, they're volunteering, they're donating, they're hosting us to share our story. Everyone I see, I don't know what they're doing in the rest of their life, but when they're dealing with us and Make-A-Wish, they're focused on making a child happy. So that's the view I get to go through the world with.
Beautiful thing.
What's next for you? Are you ever going to retire?
Well, I mentioned, we're looking to grow again coming out of COVID. It's been a tough few years, but a lot of great things happening at Rubio's. And
Oceanside.
Oceanside.
Yeah, Oceanside's coming up, and yeah.
I can't wait to, so can you, before we open, I think we got to maybe reveal part of the new menu here on the show when it gets closer.
Oh, when it gets closer.
I think I need you to come here and make some of your Susan.
We should talk about that.
Ooh, exclusive.
And then Sky,
Yes.
I mean, 20 years, you got Eddie Papani,
Oh, yeah.
you have Thor, Emily Griffiths, and you.
Yes.
How do you make that work? I mean, how do you, because
Especially
20 years,
with Eddie.
I think the life
thank
of a morning radio show, what, 2-3 years at the
Normally,
most?
and then you're shipped off to a different city
Yeah.
if you're lucky.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
but
you're just on the beach.
What's the formula to stay in San Diego?
I think the formula, honestly, for everywhere is just to be real. You know what I mean? And that's what we are. And, even though Eddie's the host, I am totally free to disagree with him and tell him he's being an idiot. But
Screw Eddie.
Yeah, but on most shows, it's like, no, you got to wait till the host is done speaking and blah, blah, blah. But no, we're just 4 real people, and we couldn't be more different, which you think wouldn't work. But honestly, we kind of represent everybody out there, whether you're kind of like a hippie weirdo like I am, or maybe you're a big-time sports guy. Whatever your bag is, we'll represent you, and we have a great time doing it.
I think also being number one in the market helps keep you.
That does help.
From the corporate standpoint.
Yes.
I think
A
that's good.
spreadsheet likes to see that.
Kyle, you got your 6th annual Celebration of Heroes coming up here on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
What else is happening with you in your life? Are you? You're as big as you can get in the sports world for LA market. Come on.
I'll tell you, like Sky says, I've just been blessed with everything I've been able to do in my life and in my career. I've been doing this, believe it or not, 35 years now. Started when I was 5, and
Well, you look like it, honestly. You look the same as you did the very first day.
I always say, it's a dream world when you love sports, which I do, to get up in the morning and know that is going to be my entire day. It's going to be watching sports, and whatever happens that particular day. I may be going to talk to LeBron James today, or going to talk to Mookie Betts down at Dodger Stadium, or going to talk to Eric Weddle used to be here. Got a chance to see him win a Super Bowl up there in LA, which I was so happy for him. So the relationships you build and to be able to just have so much joy with what you do in your life is a blessing. And
And you are at the highest level. Do you still say to yourself, wow, freaking LeBron right here?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Sometimes you go out of body, right? And you're interviewing someone, and then your mind is going, "Oh my goodness, this is crazy. I'm interviewing LeBron James right now." So yeah, sometimes if you don't do that, if you're jaded and that is beyond you, then you need to do something else. I still have a great joy with what I do, and I'm so thankful for it. I want to keep on doing
We're
it.
glad you're here. Kyle Kraska, Guy Williams, Ralph Rubio, and of course, from Make-A-Wish, I can't tell you, you need to come here. You gotta bring Apple back. Suzanne,
Love Suzanne.
Come on. Our live studio audience, thank you guys for coming in.